What's up, Copy Squad? It's your boy Kyle Milligan of KyleTheWriter.com, and today we're going to talk about how to learn copywriting, the two different ways to do so. All right, so those are the kind of two ways to learn copywriting. So the first way is let's talk about how you can do it completely by yourself and in as little bit of time as possible. And I think that would be my 3 copywriting exercises. These 3 exercises are written in my book, Take Their Money, which is available at KyleTheWriter.com/book. So if you're interested in learning like everything I'm basically going to instruct you here at more detail, you can go get that book, Take Their Money. So the first one, read a piece of copy a day. So whenever you're reading a piece of copy, it can be an entire sales promo. I would say find copywriting from famous copywriters, or find copywriting that is currently converting very well or making a lot of money today. I think those are your 2 options. So the first thing, read a piece of copy a day. If you really treat it with respect, right? If you go to class every day for any other language or any other degree or any other college thing, why can't you read a piece of copy a day? So read a piece of copy a day, and you want to be looking through it actively. You don't want to just read it and absorb the material. You want to be actively reading and looking for 4 things in particular that I think are very important. I call these the big 4 emotions. Again, in the book, Take Their Money, I go super in depth on this. But they're new, easy, safe, and big. And each of these has a joining multiplier attached to it, okay? And again, in the book, give you more depth. But for right now, just know new, easy, safe, and big are the big 4 sales emotions. And you need to be scanning the copy and noticing when the writer is employing these things, how they're doing it, what sort of language they're doing. And whenever you're reading a piece of copy, I say read the masters, read famous copywriters, or read something that's performing well today. So you want to find something that you can emulate. The closer to your niche, the better, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your niche. You can draw ideas from anywhere. So read a piece of copy a day, but actively read, okay? So we're talking about 2 ways to learn how to learn copywriting. And the first way is by yourself, and I'm going over that right now. That's exercise 1 is read a piece of copy a day. Second one is write a piece of copy a day. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be a sales letter. You can write, or it's write 1 page, okay? Write 1 page. It could be a series of emails. It could be a page of a sales letter. It could be a rough draft. It could be anything copywriting-wise. I'll give you a little trick. Basically, you can take that same piece of copy that you were reading, and if you hand copy it 1 page and then actively read it and mark it up in the margins, you just took care of both of those. Easy peasy. But you got to do it daily. This is your homework. And I'd say treat this like a college student treats going to class. Well, that might be a bad recipe, but definitely, they pay all this money, they take on these student loans, and they do all that junk, and they go get their 4 years of education or whatever. But people want to become millionaires writing copy, but they're not willing to put in 1 hour a day, right? So you have to take this seriously. You got to treat it like a professional language, which is what it is, man. So handwrite a piece of copy, right? And then scribble in the margins or actively read it and mark it up. That's part 1 and part 2. Read a piece of copy and write a piece of copy. You just nailed both of them. The last one is number 3 is come up with an idea a day. And this does not have to be the big idea. Come up with an idea every day, and it doesn't have to be a grand idea that blows people's minds. Just come up with an idea. It could be a new subject line for an email. It could be a cool way to critique your funnel. It could be a new YouTube idea, all right? So every day I have to come up with this content, right? So I'm doing copy right now. I'm basically selling you on my way of thinking. Every time I get on the camera, I have to come up with content, and I have to pitch you my book. Go to KyleTheWriter.com/book, and you can really learn how to write words that really make you rich from my book, Take Their Money. So this is all copy, man. Everything you're getting right now, man, you're being marketed to, but you don't mind because you're also learning at the same time. It's all copywriting, right? It feels like you're getting something out of it. That's why these long-form sales letters for 40 pages work, because they're reading, and it just feels like it's exciting and you're getting something out of it at the same time. So, and that's usually where the cool ideas come from. Teach them something new or tell them something they've never heard before, right? So it's got to be new. So that's it. So the 2 ways to how to learn copywriting. 1, by yourself. That's the slow way. 2, this is the fast way. Go to Copywriting School. So what I mean by go to Copywriting School, I was talking about this in the video about how to get freelance clients. I think if I had to go back and do it all over again, right, and I wanted to find freelance clients, I would kind of start with the credibility. I would start making myself a person who is a valuable, in-demand copywriter. And I think that means going to copywriting school, learning from mentors, learning from the best. I say I would probably do what I did already, which was go get a job. Now, it just was like a happy coincidence that Agora happened to be the place that I applied, and it also happened to be this massive, like, top-level copywriting, powerhouse. I think going to copywriting school is like a way to quickly start networking. I'll tell you, one of the things that I think is very important is okay, let me say something. I want to address a criticism. I've seen someone say, okay, so this guy Kyle, he's been at it for what, a year and some change? Like, how does he claim to be so good at copywriting? I'll tell you how. Because whenever I make a mistake, the best writers in the world are right there to slap me on the wrist and say, don't do that. Freelancers do not have that luxury. You have to write the whole thing out, you have to test it, then you have to wait for results, right? Then you have to try to figure out yourself, like, where did I go wrong? How can I improve this? And test. Now, dude, I'm surrounded by the best people who have ever been in the game or are in the game today. And that's a huge advantage for my learning curve. I can basically, like, hey, write a line and show it to someone who's made $1 gajillion and be like, would you write this? And they'd say, no, I'd write it like that. And this is why. And I'd be like, oh my God, right? So every time I tell you something that makes like a light bulb pop off in your head, that happens to me like 10 times a day on a scale that's like so accelerated compared to what it would take to do as a freelancer when I'm just trying to figure it out and maneuver through it. So that's why it's, that's why I'm able to have all this information, all this knowledge and stuff. And like right away, one of the very first things they told me when I started was stop reading about copy, read copy. Like, that completely pivoted how I approached copywriting, like, right away on day one. I was reading all the books, right? I was reading the Boron Letters. I read Joe Sugarman's book. And they're like, don't read those books. Read copy, right? So, don't read about copy. Read copy. And that was like a total game changer for me. Like, oh, now I need to start dissecting copy. And I've made my whole book, Take Their Money at kylethewriter.com/book, is about the practice of reading copy. I'm actually teaching you how to read copy in the same way that I learned how to read copy and helped me gross $8 million in my first year at Agora. So the copywriting school method is the second way. The copywriting school strategy is like, go get a job, dude. Go somewhere with some training. Go somewhere where you can get paid to learn. You can have the infrastructure around you to test, and you don't lose money. You don't lose a ton of time. And even if you don't have, like, the grandest mentors, like, right there at your fingertips, like some places might offer, you at least have the infrastructure around you to fail fast, okay? That's one of the things that I fail on, like, a daily basis, but you never see it, because it happens within the walls of Agora, where someone can say, Kyle, I wouldn't run that headline like this. And I think another thing that people don't understand is that life is so long. If you really think about the last 12 months of your life, like how fast that went by, right? What if you had spent those 12 months at Agora? Like, what if you had spent those 12 months at a job learning the skill and mastering it very quickly and failing frequently? I think it would give you such an exponential boost on like how quickly you learn. So the first method was by yourself, right? There's 2 ways to learn copywriting. I said the first one was by yourself, and I recommend doing these 3 daily practices. Read a piece of copy, write a piece of copy, and come up with an idea a day. If you treat this profession with respect, right? Like an accountant would go to school, a lawyer would go to school, go to grad school. They take these really hard tests. If you can't sit down for 1 hour a day and go to class, right? Then you're not treating it with the respect it deserves, okay? So that's by yourself. That'll help you get better fast, all right? I say learn from the master copywriters. Try to find famous copywriters. That's the first way. It's slower. The second way is go to copywriting school, get a job, get a network, get somewhere where you can fail frequently and you can fail for free, like you actually get paid to fail, and you will learn much quicker. If you can find a place that they just need a copywriter, sure, that will be very useful. If you find a place where they're only, like their business model is copywriting, even better. You'll be surrounded by copywriters constantly. You can do what I do. You Slack message someone and say, does this line suck or not? And they will be like, yeah, that line sucks. Don't do it, write it like this. Or they'll say, no, that's great. Actually, have you thought about adding this? So that's why with, a year and some change, I can come on here and be like, drop knowledge, drop value bombs, and be like, yes, I can write copy very well, and say that with confidence, because I had, again, the top guys in the game looking over my shoulder, reading every line I wrote and saying, all right, here, let's fix this. So check out the book, Take Their Money. It's at kylethewriter.com/book. And that's all I've got for today. Peace out, Copy Squad.